and knowing that we are held ever so tightly in the arms of love, in the arms of grace, in the arms of faith and harmony, in the arms of the joy that we see on our smiling faces and on our hearts and on our children's hearts. And we bless each person who comes to this service today, whether it's in this space or our space online, whether it's today or another day, that they come and watch this wonderful message that is downloaded, received by Reverend Don, and given out to us and the world. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so we are an interfaith gathering, a spiritual community that honors all teachings and all spiritual teachers. And now we begin the ceremony that celebrates this oneness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths come for the one universal presence, which we call spirit. Our candle lighter this morning is Loanne, who graciously said yes. See how easy it is to say yes? You can just walk in the morning and say yes. And so let us begin. The Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of pristine spirituality. Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the last candle is the healing candle of love, light, and peace. We invite you in the stillness of your own mind to bring to awareness the names of anyone you wish to be included in this healing flame of love, light, and peace. Now that our flames of faith are fully lighted, we move forward into our celebration, realizing and reaffirming that all paths lead to God. And so it is. Thank you, Loanne. Our inspirational quote for today. Peace comes from a sense of union with the whole. Confusion comes from a sense of separation. I'm going to read that one more time. This is from Ernest Holmes, This Thing Called You. And you can repeat it to yourself as I say it. Peace comes from a sense of union with the whole. Confusion comes from a sense of separation. And so it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, that was a great good morning. Thanks. Even though there's some clouds, right, and everything, we know that the sun is always shining in our hearts, always shining wherever we are. As I say I'm a educator, and as I say, I do the morning announcements at school. I always say, have a great day, friends, or not. The choice is always yours. And so the sun is shining if we choose. And so my name is Karen Valera Sherman, and I am one of the licensed practitioners here at the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. And one of the wonderful things that we like to do first is to say hello. Hello to our friends and hello to our new friends. So is anyone here a new friend that would like to raise their hand and receive a gift? Wonderful. Thank you. It's so nice to have you here. If you are a new friend online, please make sure that you write out to someone. A lot of times Cindy Hensley, one of our licensed practitioners, is following, and we can make sure that something is sent to you. And so welcome, everyone. The thing that we love most to do here at the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living is to pray. And there are many ways, like we talked about, there are many ways that lead to God. And there's many different ways that people pray. And for us here at the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living, we do what we call affirmative prayer. So when you cannot see the truth for yourself, we see the truth for you. And there are many people who have gone through classes and have said yes to availing themselves to you to be able to help you through that. And we also love to celebrate with you, because we know that when we have a charged feeling around celebrating some good that's happening for us, the more we spread that on, then there's more joy that's coming to us. So I'm going to ask everyone who's a licensed practitioner to please stand so that new people know who you can tap and say, please pray with me. There's myself and Linda, Rev Dawn, Robert's holding the presents in the blue chair. There's Judy in the back, Cindy Hensley, and Bob Corbin. And we just love to pray. And so not only can you receive right after service what we call an OM, a 1-minute miracle, you also, in front of you, have something that you can fill out that's a prayer request. And you can fill that out and put it in the box that's to the right as you walked in. We will know the truth for you all week. Robert or myself will send those out. People online, you can fill out a request, and Rev Linda will get those to us. What we do know is that as soon as you have the thought that you're writing it down, that prayer has already started. We're just going to manifest it, because where more than one is gathered, then prayers are answered. Now I have some other ways that you can say yes, because even though you're new, you can, if you'd like to join in any of those things, please feel free to join us. It is not too late to sign up today by the office right here on the back, near these back doors in the corner. We have something that you can fill out if you're wanting to join Visioning a Way of Life. Our own Tony Shannon will be leading that. It's Wednesday evenings from 5 to 6:30 online. And the cost is $215, and it goes from September 4th to October 16th. We have brought back our spiritual striders. Yes! Guess what? It starts today, right after the center. We are done. And so you can join Bob Corbin. Bob, can you stand up again, just so that anyone knew? He's right there in the back doing the sound. And we'll start at 12:30 at Taku Lake, which is very close to the center. See him if you don't know exactly where that is. Dogs are welcome. It will be every Sunday starting at 12:30 unless Bob lets us know otherwise. And so 12:30, Spiritual Striders. It's a great way to do some walking meditation or spend some time communing with others. The office will be closed tomorrow in honor of Memorial Day, remembering those who died and protected our country. And September 3rd, we will have regular hours. Wait, don't run off after services. We have coffee. And that's in our hospitality room, which is 2 rooms over. Before it's Labor Day. It was written on here, and I read it from the paper, but you know what? You're right. It's Labor Day.
I wish it was still Memorial Day. We could go back and do summer again. Let's start summer, right?
So before we go to music, Rev Dawn I really like that I'm one of the speakers this month, and so he wrote out about pieces of peace. That's what this month has to do with. And then he decided to entitle this week Pieces of Pieces. And he's a piece of our pieces of peace. And so I'd like him to come up for just a moment. Come up. Say yes. Say yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday was his birthday. It's his born day.
We didn't need it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Thank you,
birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rev Dawn. Happy birthday to you. We love you.
You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once upon a time, there was a fierce, powerful samurai warrior. This man was big, he was strong, he was well trained in all of the martial arts. He was a big, tough samurai, and he was used to being obeyed immediately. Any of his commands were immediately obeyed. And he walked up to a small monk one day, and he said, "Monk, teach me of heaven and hell." And the small monk looked up at him and he said, "Teach you? I couldn't teach you anything. You're stupid, you're dumb, you're dirty, you smell bad. Teach you? I couldn't teach you anything. Your sword's rusty. You're an embarrassment to the samurai tradition. You're horrible." And the rage built up inside of this powerful man, and he pulled out his sword and he was ready to cut this little monk in half. And the little monk looked up at him and he said, "And that is hell." And the samurai was so touched by this little man. He was so amazed that he had the courage to risk his life to teach him what is hell. That he fell to this little man's feet and he said, "Thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for showing me what is hell." And the little man looked at him and said, "And that is heaven." Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see everybody here today. Thank you for coming out this beautiful Alaskan day. Thanks for coming out, and thanks to those of you online who are watching. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be invited into your home. Thank you. As Karen already said, the monthly theme is Pieces into Peace. And to just be transparent here, after 14 years of trying to come up with a new and catchy sermon title every Sunday, I'm just going to steal the monthly theme. Pieces into... It's close enough. Whatever. Well, and what the idea sort of is that sometimes it feels like our world is falling to pieces. I mean, big wars in the Ukraine and in Gaza, the Middle East, the West Bank, and those are just the ones that capture all the headlines. I mean, there's all kinds of wars going on within our own country. The divisions that we have politically are so stark, and they can get so mean and vicious. It just doesn't seem like it. And the songs this morning, Aaron, you're awesome. I mean, if we woke up every day singing those songs, I think we'd be a lot better off.
Amen.
But, and even locally, just in our own little city here of Anchorage, Alaska, homelessness. We have been fighting this homeless thing for a long, long time. And we seem to not have the ability to get our arms around it. It just seems like our society is falling to pieces. So what my talk today is how do we move from pieces into an inner kind of a peace? And so my 3 points are, first I'm going to talk about not peace, then I'm going to talk about what is peace, and finally turning pieces into peace. Sometimes it takes experiencing not peace in order to have an awakening and rise up with a longing for inner peace. Life can seem like it is happening to us. We feel like innocent victims of circumstances. When this happens, we're living life unconsciously, feeling separate from everything and everyone. Not peace can include being reactive to a situation where we feel triggered by something that someone has said or done, an event in the world, or something going in our own lives. Could be a health challenge or a financial challenge. We can feel hurt, angry, overwhelmed, out of control, and more. It feels like our lives are in pieces and we don't know what to do. I think some of you know I had a little dental thing going on last week. In fact, I came to service and then I realized I wasn't going to make it. So I went to an urgent care hoping that they could refer me to a dentist I'd already looked up. And, you know, and I got to admit, a lady in that urgent care really got under my skin. She basically accused me of faking a toothache to get drugs. Well, luckily, I was so lucky. The dental assistant at the place that I had to put this crown on that blew up on me, she gave me her phone number, her personal phone number. And so I sent her a text. Well, the reason we hit it also, well, she's a fly fisher person. So I didn't hear back from her. I gave up on that. I figured she's probably out in the middle of nowhere fly fishing. I was right. But she did eventually get it, and she got back to me, and she kind of got me going in the right direction, gave me the old directions, you know, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. But boy, if you have a dental issue, you're not getting help in Anchorage, Alaska. I mean, luckily I only had one night to go through. But it reminded me of an old story. Thich Nhat Hanh has told this story, and I think I've used it before, I don't know. But I know that when I went to Google it, all I had to Google was Thich Nhat Hanh and non-toothache, and boom, it came right up. When we are having a toothache, we know that not having a toothache is a wonderful thing. Yet when we no longer have a toothache, we're still not happy. A non-toothache is very pleasant. Yes. And I've kept that in the back of my mind. Boy, I am really appreciated today, all week, for not having a toothache. I was trying to think of another example, and you guys know me well enough now. I'm not real big on telling stories about myself, but I thought it'd be good to share something where I felt non-toothache, or a toothache, a time when I felt non-peace in my life. And boy, there've obviously been a bunch of them, you know. I mean, the biggie was Anne when she had cancer. And, you know, what occurred to me when that was going on, I'd love to tell you that, I was centered and zen and I was all prayer and everything. But you know what hit my brain? Why would a loving God give this woman the kindest, most gentle, the most wonderful woman I have ever known? Why would a loving God give her cancer? A vicious kind of cancer that only affects like 7% of the people, just a nasty, nasty damn stuff. But then I thought, you can hate cancer. You can hate God for giving her cancer. But that's not quite the same. And I thought of another example where I was really in the middle of not peace. As many of you know, we have this thing going on in Talkeetna, and we're going to build a house. And in order to do that, had to sell the 40 acres that we've had out there for 25 years. And we've kept things on that 40 acres for a long time. I keep my camper on it, and my son had a 20-foot heavy equipment trailer. It's a really fancy thing. Tilts, it's the top of the line. And we've kept it there, and the way I sort of take care of it, I can drive down Birch Creek Boulevard, and I look at my driveway, and during the winter, if there's anybody's been in there, there's going to be tracks. And no tracks all winter. The snow started to melt this year, and put on the snowshoes and hiked out. There's a beautiful spot. And the trailer's gone. Somebody stole a $10,000 heavy equipment trailer. And there's a sense of violation. When somebody steals from you, and once again, I'd love to be able to tell you that I was all Zen, using my spiritual practices and everything else. But I'll tell you, spiritual practices were about the furthest thing from my mind at that moment. I'd like to got my hands on this person. But after I kind of calmed down a little bit, the thing that kind of hit me, and it should have hit me a lot earlier because I'm always preaching to you guys about it, but is the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and there's nothing I can do about it. That trailer was stole before it snowed because there were never any tracks. That thing's been gone for 7, 8 months. There's nothing I can do about it. The serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, make sure there's a police report filled out, make sure that all that can be done that is done, and the wisdom to know the difference. And with that, to let it go and don't let it eat me up.
And they needed it more than you did.
Somebody must have needed it a lot more than I did. And you'll have to wait till next week for the rest of the story, because it gets good. So my second point, okay, that's not peace. So what is peace? Exploring what peace is can help us awaken to the truth that it is ever present within us. That way we know that we can access it whenever we need it, especially when we are experiencing not peace. Peace moves us from the feeling of being separate in the world to the realization of the oneness of all that is, that God's source is the center of our being. Ernest Holmes, this is from the glossary of the Science of Mind, and we're gonna kind of do this twice, but here's the first one. Peace, a state of inner calm, an inner calm so complete that nothing can disturb it. The peace which comes only from the knowledge that it is all. Fathomless peace is meant by the peace of the Spirit. This is the peace to which Jesus referred when he said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you." The infinite is always at peace because there is nothing to disturb it. A realization of our oneness with omnipresence brings peace, the peace which is accompanied by a consciousness of power. Peace, a state of inner calm, an inner calm so complete that nothing can disturb it. Comes only from the knowledge that it, capital I, is all. A fathomless peace meant by the peace of the Spirit. The infinite is always at peace because there is nothing to disturb it. I invite you to feel that inner calm. Once again, Ernest Holmes. This is from a talk that he gave November 7th, 1954. It's good to remember that when Holmes wrote and when he did a lot of his stuff, he started in the 20s and went up through 59. So if you look at that time, most of that, 40 years or so, was consumed with the Great Depression, with World War II. Then we had a few years of relative peace, and then Korea. So most of the time that Holmes was, he didn't call it preaching, but when he taught, we had real live, real things going on now, just like we do today. Separation, fear, war, hunger. And so the things that he had to say are so relevant to today. This is what he said on November 7th, 1954. You and I know that no matter how confused we are, if we will get by ourselves long enough and think peace, we shall become peaceful. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. It is an announcement of the presence of God, and God is peace. And now he's quoting the Bible next. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. That's the end of where he's quoting the Bible. This is what Jesus was talking about and what Gandhi understood. This is the only thing that will bring peace on earth. We want peace on earth. Let us pray for peace in our own hearts. Let us affirm peace in our own minds. Let us live as though peace were the mandate of God, because it is. Peace is the mandate of God, because it is. Let us, out the stillness of our own soul, reach back to that ineffable presence which is peace, and proclaim it even in the midst of confusion. Peace, which is the power at the heart of God. You see, this is what the samurai learned. Peace is at the heart of God. Third point, turning pieces into inner peace. You know that I like to give us things that we can do, practices that we can do to take these philosophical and spiritual points and actually make them practices. So this one is a takeoff of what the kids learn in school. It is called stop, drop, and pray. So when you are feeling that sense of non-peace, stop. Stop whatever you're doing. Notice without judgment that you are not feeling peaceful, and turn away from the condition. When you feel that trailer stolen, turn away from the trailer, turn away from all of that, and know the truth. Drop. Drop from your head into your heart space. Breathe. Calm. Go within. It's like Loanne said, realize it. Maybe that person needed it worse. And then third, and pray. Pray as spirit. Pray for what you do want to have happen. Pray as peace, knowing only good and greater good is unfolding in your world. Know that there is a power for good in the world, greater than you are, and you can use it. So use it now. And I have another tool. Wow, I've got a lot of tools today. Another tool, we'll do a Kaleem recite and response thing. We need Jessica, you know, in the songs where the audience comes in. She always does this thing, and she, when it's the audience's turn, she gets up this little on her toes and does this little thing. That's the signal you're supposed to. So I'll do a call and response. So I'm going to say it and you repeat. I am surrounded by peace.
I am surrounded by peace.
I am immersed in peace.
I am immersed in peace.
There is nothing but peace.
There is nothing but peace.
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 Deep, calm, undisturbed.
Deep, calm, undisturbed.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome.
Oh, boy. And look at this. We're on time today, everything. Oh, God, that's too bad, because I have this great story for next week, too. But I didn't think we'd have near enough time. Oh, no, because we got spiritual striders, we got coffee. No NFL this week. Next week, yep. Okay, the conclusion. What I want you to take away today. I think I've got all this right. No matter the outward appearance of the world, how many pieces that seem to be around you, you can know. And this is a quote from Holmes. There is a power for good in the universe, greater than you are, and you can use it. You can use it to discover the higher truth of inner peace. In the Science Mind textbook, Holmes said, "My peace is found at the heart of God." This peace is within you now, and you can access it by consciously having a grand rising beyond the appearance of separation and moving into that place of oneness and deep peace that is always within. Just remember, stop, drop, and pray. Use this whenever not peace happens, and cultivate peace every day by using spiritual practices to transform the pieces into peace and share that peace with those around you and the world. Namaste. And so with this feeling of peace in our hearts, the awareness of the power that's greater than we are, yet it is part of who we are. With that understanding, I invite my colleagues, the practitioners, to join me. It's so wonderful to have so many practitioners here today. Thank you all. And join me in knowing that as we go through this thing called life, that it can be messy. And in those times when it is messy and we feel unpeace, we have the ability to see beyond the conditions. We have the ability to see beyond whatever the pieces are and know that there is a greater peace that is at the center of all. For that is God. So as we go through life and we have shortages, we have more months than there is paycheck, we have financial challenges, we can know that we live in an abundant universe, and that infinite creative force, which is God, is there to help us and support us through difficult times. As we go through health challenges, everything from a toothache to cancer, we can know that there is that which is greater than we are, and we can use it to go through these difficult times. And as we have conflicts with other people, whether they be at the job, whether they be socially, whether it be politically, whatever it is, whenever we have a feeling of conflict with other human beings, we can recognize that that infinite power of the universe, which is God, is within each and every one of us, and it is greater than any distance we have between us. It is greater than any separation. We can never be separated because we are all divine expressions of the Most High. And so we can just give thanks. We can give thanks for our awareness that inner peace is who we are. Inner peace is at the center of our being in all of our affairs. So we just give thanks. We let it go, we let it be, and so it is. Namaste. Oh, you're taller than I am. This is a time in the service where we are afforded the opportunity to participate in a thing that's called the law of circulation. We believe that as we give forth into the universe, it is returned to us, and so we have a practice here. No, we're not after you with two different baskets. One is giving, the other is receiving. If you should desire to contribute today, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. But you are invited to take an affirmation And that's yours to keep or to leave it in the dentist's office. Okay. Oh, we need to recognize some of the people that are online today, and this is just some of the people. Tony Shannon, she's got that visioning class. If you haven't had visioning, this is the way I look at it. You know, if we look at prayer as kind of conversations with God, conversations with the infinite, visioning is listening to the infinite, listening to the divine. It's a great opportunity. It's a structured thing. It's a great class. She's a great teacher. She teaches 5th grade. So I encourage her to dumb it down a little bit for me, and then it works. Okay, Tony, Allison, Wilson today. Amy. Wait a minute. I thought Amy was in Italy.
She said it was nighttime where she is.
Oh, Amy's in Italy. Wow. I wonder if she's just checking on us. Susie Peterson, Kaleem, and Barb. Let's do the affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
And so we do not have children with us today. However, we have a whole bunch of children because we all are childs inside. And I just want to recognize that because that is a great gift. And so as we come to a close, Rev Don spoke about how we are all human, and we are human first. And in our humanness, it can take us to our amygdala and the back of our brainstem. And that is just the truth of what happens. And in that moment, he gave you a mantra that works for him, the Serenity Prayer. Each of us needs to find that place, and I invite you to figure out this week, what is that mantra that you need to bring you back to your peace? For me, it's, I am safe, I am calm, I can handle this peacefully. When I want to flip somebody off, when I'm driving, right? Or there's those quick moments that takes us into our amygdala. And then there's the bigger ones where we recognize that a $10,000 vehicle is gone. And so I invite you to find what works for you, and then celebrate and honor that in your humanness, and that know that you can bring yourself back to peace. We don't have to be in pieces. We can choose to be in pieces, or we can choose peace. I work every day to choose peace because sometimes it's just really hard. And so it is.